How do you find the will to fight back against a world that wants to keep you sedated, average, and stuck in place? Join us for the tools and strategies you need to create a life of abundance, discipline, and high achievement. This is the Tactical Empire with Jeff Smith.
Welcome to another episode of the Tactical Empire. I am joined by Sean Ryder. What's up, man? How are you?
I'm gonna need a picture of you standing on a scale and it reading 215 pounds.
Okay, I
For
will
those of you
have that
don't
for
know,
you.
that comes from the last episode. I will not believe it until I see it. It needs to be a clear photo of you standing on it without anyone else's pressure of their foot on the back corner.
Man, I thought we had a better relationship than us. You don't believe me
I mean, I
when I
trust you.
say things like that?
I know you eat 2,000 grams of protein a day because you mix cottage cheese and eggs
Yep,
for
yep.
breakfast.
I'm just a
Gnarly.
dense individual,
That's
sometimes
one way.
mentally and sometimes just heavy. So
I was going to
I'll
say
get
that's
you your
one way to
picture.
describe it. That's one way to describe it. I think
Yeah,
I think we are in the same state,
we are. We are.
Virginia.
I I have almost found you.
You said it's cold in Virginia. It was cold overnight, 46 degrees probably, but it will be 80 today. So, my man, keep your tan. You can't lose your tan now that you're
Nah,
traveling the country.
I won't. I won't. Come hell or high water, I will have my shirt off. 40
Love it.
degrees or not.
Love it. I don't walk around with my shirt off as often as I used to because I had for like 7 years I had an overactive upper trap, and it wasn't until I stopped doing like handstand push-ups and butterfly pull-ups and excessive repetitive barbell overhead movements that getting rid of that in my training and then taking like one of those metal scraper tools and scraping my trap. Literally 7 years of basically daily neck pain. It took like less than 4 weeks after stopping that stuff and scraping my neck for that to go away. And the only time that my neck will get that needly, tingly feeling in it is when I walk around with my shirt off. And so I don't know if it's no for real. Like it's really interesting. I don't know if it's because I used to get in the sauna with my shirt off and like I'm just sitting there. I'm like, why is my neck getting tight? And then like one day at the pool, I just realized that every time I took my shirt off to get in the pool, my neck would get tight. And so I don't get in the pool with my shirt on, but I don't nearly walk around outside as much with my shirt off. And I don't know if it's because just having something there in front of my pec pulls my shoulders back better. And as soon as I
Huh,
take my shirt off, it rounds it. But anyways, so I got to get the tan.
interesting.
I got to get the tan. So the shirt's coming off and I can lay outside on the top of the hill of the driveway to get my tan.
There you go. There you go, brother.
Awesome. Last episode we talked about the universe and certain things that it puts into play and the fields of energy and as we work towards something and how the fields of energy can have an impact on that and how the universe can provide things that we didn't know we needed and it provides things that we want in different ways that we didn't expect it to. And so it provides maybe the outcome we wanted, but in a different way. And we have to be open to viewing it that way. And closer to the end of that episode, so if you guys didn't hear that episode, you might want to go listen to that one first. It was the episode previous to this. You talked about that, because I talked about my equation E plus R plus equals O, and that we do have a role to have proper responses in this game. And you said, well, you're certainly a player and you have to take ownership of the role that you play in this game and that you have to be doing things that are proactively putting you in positions to accept what the universe is handing to you. And the thing that popped in my head there was how can someone or how do you continually be a consistent person? So, right, we all have shit we all have stuff thrown at us. We all have monkey brains. So whether it's thoughts that try and tail us off onto the wrong path, whether it's external noises, like you said, from the news, from porn, from whatever, social media, anything, images, sounds, they're all around us. So how does Jeff Smith answer it for yourself or answer as you're mentoring someone, whichever one's easiest for you right now, is how do you facilitate being a consistent person?
Mm. The number one easiest thing to do in that space, it's easier said than done, is to always keep your word. Never break that. Don't ever lie. Don't ever break your word. If you say you're going to do something, and this is where most people screw it up, and I didn't understand this till probably 10 years ago, but like always keeping your word keeps a consistent track record with yourself subconsciously that you are not lying, which can manifest and grow within your subconscious. I think we've talked about this on different episodes before, but like ultimately, that's the number one starting place, and it's so hard for people to start out understanding that exercise, that like the little things that you're talking about, like it's like, oh, I'll be there in 5 minutes, and you just show up in 7 minutes instead, or like the thing that it causes you to do, it causes you to be extremely thoughtful in your words that you use, because you don't just fly off and say, well, I'll be there in 5 minutes, or you don't tell your kids you'll do something that you're not going to do. You don't just say something to get them to be quiet or get them to behave. You don't just tell your wife you'll handle it so she'll stop nagging you, or whatever your perceived reasons for telling all of these lies right now are. And to me, that's the number one thing anybody can do that can change their direction in all, like almost instantly, and almost like deliver results that you will notice very quickly. Um, because there's lies that you're telling yourself, like, I will work out today. I'm going to go run. I'm going to stop drinking today, or I'm going to stop eating ice cream today, or this is my last dessert. How many of the people listening make these little compromises on Sunday night, and they'll change Monday. They'll fix it the next day or the next week or whatever, right? And what you're doing is you're planting seeds in your subconscious that you're a person that doesn't keep their word. And that also emanates to the universe that you're a person that doesn't keep their word. So why would the universe reward you with these other gifts, right? If people are trusting of you, or you're trying to build a culture within a company, and you're doing these things regularly in your personal life, the the universe understands that, right? Your body understands that energetically. So like, why would they send you a tribe of people to follow you that are going to be dedicated and bought into what you're doing if you can't keep your word on a simple fucking scoop of ice cream, right? Like, so you're going to be trusted to take care of these people's lives and their livelihood and their families, but you can't even keep your word to wake up when you say you're going to without hitting snooze. I know they seem like polar opposites of the spectrum, but it all goes into the same pot, right?
Hmm. Well, I think the littlest things matter, and Jeff, I've been mentored by you for 6 years, and I remember you saying that way early on. So that's those of you that may not be around Jeff or hear Jeff, if you haven't listened to the podcast enough, or be mentored by him directly, is like that is something he does fall back on a lot, is keeping your word and starting there. And I wouldn't venture to say that I was someone that didn't keep my word, but there were definitely instances that I didn't keep my word. But I've heard it from you enough that it's actually was something that I started working on probably a year and a half, 2 years ago, and it takes a while maybe to change that pattern recognition in a human sometimes, especially if you're hard headed and like I am. But there are times now where I will hesitate because I don't want to do something that I said I would do for someone, and I hear your voice in my head telling me to do it. I would say the thing that I'm I would say the thing, if there's something I'm still doing that may go against that, I don't think it's completely the same context as like I put little things on my calendar, like, hey, check this. Like, go down and check the HVAC filter or go buy water softener. Like, but they're always to myself. They're little things to myself that in the grand scheme of things, when Thursday at 10:30 comes and I see the little notification to go buy 4 bags of water softener, and I'm like, I got other more important shit today. So I'm constantly, but like the rebuttal against that is like I'm constantly putting like the critical tasks above the
Hmm.
non-critical tasks, and so sometimes like I move these little things, and it's always impacting myself. I think those little things rarely impact someone else. So you could say I'm not keeping my word to myself, but I eventually
Hmm.
get around to that. I am keeping my word to keeping the main thing the main thing. So um, if you hear that and you're like me and it's like, oh, that's, that sounds too easy, like it is important to actually start pulling that towards the forefront outside of keeping your word. Is there anything else, or do you want to hear maybe one of my thoughts on it?
Well, I think the thing is that people don't. What it does is it starts a practice of making you more thoughtful in general. Because
Mm,
most of us go about life kind of assuming that our actions don't have any sort of reverberation or impact. And like for us, like looking to be great husbands, great fathers, and make a fuckload of money, right? Like it, if you take for granted like how frequently you tell your kids something just to shut them up, which like normal people do, that's humans, right? Like I'm tired of this little thing screaming at me. I'd like it to not scream. And like so you just answer in whatever way you feel pacifies the situation. But like once you start behaving this way and acting in integrity regularly, you become more thoughtful about the words you say, period. Like if you tell your wife you're going on a date at 4 o'clock on Thursday, like most of us are so far gone from this point. We operate on a different level. And I'm meaning most human beings in the world today. Like 4 o'clock, you could take it or leave it. If it's 15 minutes late, no big deal, whatever. Or if it doesn't happen at all, we're going to be married still. So who cares? It'll be Saturday. But like once you start taking those things more seriously, then you can take your overall life more seriously. But when you're doing the small things, the big things seem to just kind of fall in place a little bit easier because there's less resistance in the universe to bring us
mm.
full circle. But go ahead. What are your thoughts?
I'm gonna come at it from like me personally, so some people may not relate to this, some people will. It's like I I am I don't like cliche quotes, but like I'm a creature of habit. I like, and this is a simplified answer. The way that I'm consistent is that I'm consistent. I have a consistent schedule that I like, and by schedule I mean flow of my day, and their time blocks, like times in which I do certain things. It's not rigid, like to the minute. But I like waking up at my own house as opposed to traveling. I like
Hmm.
going to bed around the same time in my bed. I don't like sleeping in hotels or random Airbnbs. I like having dinner at home. I don't go out and have drinks on Thursday nights. I couldn't imagine a life in my mind where I'm going to different restaurants every Thursday, either with the same group of people or different people. Like I like consistency in all areas of my life. Now I have built in flexibility, which is why I'm saying I have kind of general time blocks, and I'm open to changing things when it's needed. But the way that I'm a consistent person is like pretty much every single day looks the same in
Mm.
my life. I wake up, I do the same things. My family leaves, I do the same thing. around this time of day, I'm working out. I'm doing the same thing. I eat breakfast around this time, and it's usually these items. I'm eating lunch around this time. It's usually these items. I play with my dogs in the afternoon. I'm whatever it may be.
Mhm.
I know when my flow state is for actual work, and I know when I need a break and downtime. I know those times of day. Um, I try and be as consistent as possible with my kids. Definitely keeping your word to your kid is super important. And that's why like I get blown away for people that travel for work because in my mind, like even though I want to travel more later, a little bit later. We are doing more weekend trips, which I'm a big fan of now. I'm not putting that off. But when I say travel more, I mean like being gone for like a month to 3 months. I see that more in my 40s because I don't think right now in my 30s, I don't think I would enjoy it as much because I like the rhythm of life right
Mhm.
now. And so
Yeah.
if I had to go get a job, which I won't, if I had to go get a job that made me travel to a different city every week, like, dude, it would be the end of me. I just know it. Because it would just, in order for me to be consistent, my life has to be consistent. And that
Mhm.
may be just an oversimplified answer, but I'm watching other 30 some year olds that have wives and kids like I do, and they're at something new every week. They're at a different bar. They're drinking a different beer. And these may come off as negative things. Like if that's your thing, that's cool. And I know they don't maybe think the way I think, and that's what energizes them. But like that would create anxiety in my life. I like I like my mold, so to
Yeah.
speak. So if you don't have any consistency and you're looking for consistency, in order to be consistent, you need to be consistent. So set parameters, set your rhythm, set your habits, and that goes back to all the other things that we discussed on prior episodes.
But I mean, all you're stating really there is that like the cliche that discipline equals freedom, right? Because you're structuring in a a structure of pseudo productivity. I mean, you're hitting kind of on all the four pillars, I would presume, in
Yeah.
your days, and that is what if you touch those boxes, then you have provided room and space for flexibility beyond that. And I mean, I would say I live very similarly to that. Um, that's what you're defining there, though. It is like by boxing in the things that you know you need to do outside of not enjoying like potential disruptions and like traveling, going different places to eat, things like that. But ultimately, the structure that you're describing is what gives you the flexibility to dig into these other areas, to be more aware, to like spend more time with what's important right now, and
Mhm.
like ultimately be present. And I think that's another area a lot of people miss, right? Because they're busy trying to be busy, and it's hard to be aware of what's going on now when you're constantly trying to be busy.
I think that's because we work mainly with men and focus on men. Um, Men focus on being providers, and that's important, but don't be a provider at the expense of presence. Uh, like that's, I think that's a big one. You can
Mm.
provide and be present, and so I think this goes back to keeping your word and maybe how you define what that word or phrase means. Right? A lot of men say I need to work this much because I'm providing for my family, because my family's the most important thing to me. Well, I hear you. I get that. But if you're never around your kids, is that really a reflection of that phrase? Um, and if that's what you need to do to make ends meet financially, so be it. But I would challenge you on that. I would challenge you that your kids may view it a little bit differently. So I think that's a good point that you bring up about presence, and I think
Yeah,
providing and work ethic is not an excuse to not be present.
yeah, yeah, yep. Ultimately, men are mission driven, and that whatever that mission may be, a lot of us just simply say it's a certain dollar amount to provide for our families, and then we just go to work. But um, it ultimately is about like not missing all of these experiences, because I mean that's what we were talking about to start the episode, and like the really embracing the overall human experience at every stage, right? Because I mean we're now conditioned to skip the first 90% of our life and lock into slavery mode to pay taxes and participate in that machine until we're 65 years old, and we're supposed to die by the time we're 78. And so there's 13 years of living in there. And what we're doing is
Mm.
flipping the formula on its head and hoping that we can enjoy 40 years of presence. And there's really no reason you couldn't start earlier. The only reason I'm saying 40 is because that's when it happened to me. But but the reality of it is we're proving it further and further back in the age time horizon. Fuck, we got a kid in the group that's 26 years old that's like looking at trying to put $1 million into investments before he's 30. Um, to have $1 million of principal invested is what I'm saying, which I mean, even at a standard rate of return of 10%, he's effectively guaranteeing himself $100,000 a year for the rest of his life for as long as he lives at 26 years old. And the dude's already put 700,000 in there, I know for a fact. And so like there's no age that you can't make this particular structure work. And then and it I just think not enough people go educate themselves about it, and not enough people are willing. They It seems too risky because it's too unconventional for most people. But so the more people we can get out here living like this, with the freedom and flexibility to like make it happen for themselves, and then the freedom to choose, we can really start to shift the like overall mission of what a man is doing, right? Because if we can take care of the providing situation in your 20s, then you can go be mission driven about whatever the next thing is, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Yeah, super
love it.
interesting.
It
Yeah,
is. So hopefully, you guys listen to those episodes back to back where we went kind of up in the metaphorical and literal clouds of the universe and then brought it back home to show you how you're empowered and how you can be more consistent in your life as high achieving men that are trying to build the life of your dreams. Fellas, appreciate you listening. Jeff, send the people out.
guys, if you want to work with us, if any of this stuff has been appealing, if you want to retire at 26, I can't promise it, but I can show you how to get a lot closer and be a lot better off and enjoy your quality of life while you are doing it all. Along the way, we can show you. Hit us up, DM us on Instagram. We have Tactical Empire community on every platform, the Tactical Empire. Um, get in touch with us if we can be of help to you, your family, your husband, your wife, whatever you got, and help you live a more full life. So have a great day. Have a great week. Kick ass. And we'll talk to you next week.